Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, we'll be giving you guys a front office update for the Washington Commanders. A Ron Rivera hire is finally gone. Also give you guys an update on Martin Mayhew as well. And then also talk about T. Higgins and his contract situation and how he just got franchise tagged, so it's very likely he will not be a Washington Commander. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. If you do those three things, it really does help out a ton. It's all free and it takes a few seconds. We're really close to 15K subscribers. So let's talk about this. So Marty Hurney's contract with the Commanders expired. He is no longer with the franchise. He has been listed as an advisor for the past year after serving as an assistant GM with Ron Rivera. So that chapter is gone. One more Ron Rivera guy that is gone, one less Ron Rivera guy in the building, which, is good in my book. Ron Rivera, respect him and everything. He's a good guy, and it was not a great situation for him in DC, but it wasn't great. He did not do a good job at all, and part of it was him, the guys he hired, the guys he drafted, and Martin Mayhew, but Marty Hurney was one of the guys responsible for a lot of the bad decisions. I think he played a factor in a lot of the draft picks, Forbes, stuff like that. So he was listed as an advisor. I think they just really had him on the payroll and were waiting for the contract to finally expire, and it was done in 2024. So he is not on the website. I think Ben Standig was the first one to notice he's not on the website, and then John Keim tweeted about it. So he is gone, which again, you never want to be like, oh, happy someone loses their job or anything, but he's made a lot of money over his career, and he was making money right now doing nothing basically. So I think it's good that he's not with the organization anymore. I just he didn't do a great job when he was here, and then also he has no ties to Adam Peters and the new front office. So Martin Mayhew, I don't know why I keep saying Marty, but Martin Mayhew does have ties with Adam Peters, and that's why he is still around. I commented on this just to make sure, asking about Mayhew and saying, I said, assuming Mayhew's still around, ? And Keim said, yeah, was hired to a new position. Hurney was never around, so basically he was just on the payroll, and and now he is officially gone. Martin Mayhew obviously has that connection with Adam Peters, was an assistant GM, I believe, with the 49ers while, Peters was there, had a high, role there in San Fran. So, has that connection with Peters. Obviously doesn't have the same role that he had in Washington, when Rivera was here. Now, he doesn't have that general manager title, but he is involved with the organization. I'll go ahead and look it up right here. Have the 49ers safety on the screen right now. But Martin Mayhew, will look up his, role in the Commanders right now. And let's see, we'll just look that up. Obviously played for, the Redskins back in the day. It does have some ties to the organization, has ties to Adam Peters. So senior personnel executive advisor to the GM. So still doing some work in DC. It is what it is, but he's not the main guy. And honestly, that's fine. I don't know how much of a factor he played into all the decisions when he was a general manager here. Obviously, I think it was mostly Rivera. And then I don't know if he had more say or Marty Hurney did, but he wasn't the main guy. It wasn't a normal GM role where you're making all the decisions. The coaches, usually the coaches take a step back and let the general managers do their job, and they maybe make some input. But here was the opposite, where Rivera was making most of the decisions, and Mayhew might have been giving some input. So in a different role, maybe a role that he was doing in San Francisco, I think it makes a lot more sense and might be good. A guy that maybe can, be a judge of character in the interviews, because I think that was something that he was strong with in San Francisco. That's something maybe he can do. He played in the NFL for a while, 8 seasons as a general manager for the Lions. But yeah, played for the Redskins from 89 to 92 and won that Super Bowl, the 91-92 Super Bowl. So as a club's vice president of player personnel in San Francisco, senior personnel executive from 2017 to 2018, and assisted first-time general manager. John Lynch. So that was kind of his role there. He's still in Washington, D.C. Don't know how involved he is, but he is in Washington, D.C. And a big part of that is because of his connection with Adam Peters. I would be interested to, it's a hypothetical, but let's say Mayhew wasn't here, and let's say he still was in San Francisco, or he just was, he never got hired by Washington and Adam Peters did, if he would have brought him in, or if he just kept him because he already was under contract for the Commanders. So that was a little bit stuff to talk about there. Just some updates, housekeeping stuff. Other news, not big news, I don't think, but the Bengals franchise tagging T. Higgins. So at the minimum, he's not going to be he's not going to be a free agent this year. The best case scenario, I wouldn't say for the Commanders because I don't want T. Higgins, but the best case scenario for a team that does want him would be a franchise tag and trade, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. So they could, they franchise tag him and they maybe get a third, fourth round pick. Obviously he's worth more than that, but when you're on the franchise tag, the value is a little bit lower because it's more of a sign and trade if that's their intention. But it's looking like, according to reports, they are trying to sign him to a long-term deal. So that's probably going to be what's gonna happen, or again, that's their intention. If it doesn't happen, I'm assuming he plays out the season on the franchise tag, which is 100% guaranteed, and then will be a free agent the next offseason. If the Washington Commanders want to go after him, then maybe they can. I'm not a big T. Higgins fan. Some injury issues, he's not elite, and he's going to be asking for elite money. And that maybe that's the market value for him. I talked about this with my friends. I think with my brother too. It just it is what it is. It's his market value. If it's $33 million, let another team pay him that. I just don't think the Commanders should pay him that when they can get someone like Darius Slayton for probably a fifth of the cost. I don't know exactly what the cost for Slayton would be, but for a significantly less amount of money, and a guy that gets you 700 yards a year with a bad QB. So let's see what he does with Washington. I'd much rather do that, or a Chris Godwin route. Again, a guy that you're not going to have to pay a lot of money. That's still relatively young. I think he's 28 years old. And T. Higgins, he's young, but he's not that much younger than Chris Godwin. He's 26, so 2 years younger. He has injury issues. Not a ton. Chris Godwin has injury issues too, but I just rather pay Godwin or Darius Slayton less money and than paying T. Higgins this amount of money. I know a lot of people wanted Higgins. That's fine. I never was on the T. Higgins train for Washington. If it was really cheap, then okay, but I think it's just too much money for a guy that never has shown that he is a number one, or at least a good number one in this league. I know he's behind Jamar Chase, but he's in a good offense, and he doesn't have to go up against the number one receivers number one corners because he has Jamar Chase with him. He had a good year this year, 911 yards in 12 games. That's very good. That is, the second best season of his career yards per game wise. And last year was, had 656 yards in 12 games, on pace for a little less than 1,000. The year before that, 1,029 yards. His best year, 1,100 yards. And it's just not that impressive for a guy that you're going to have to pay $30+ million a year. That's what it's looking like. And again, I don't think that's worth it. And he's not even that big of a touchdown guy. 6 a year, 7 a year on average. He had 10 this past year, which is good, but for the most part, he gets you 7-ish touchdowns a year, and he doesn't get a lot of yards either. So is that a guy that I want to pay $30 million? No. I rather, you got Terry right now. You have Luke McCaffrey, who is a question mark. Bring back one of the vets with Crowder, Zaccheaus, Diami, Noah Brown, one of those guys, maybe two of them. Draft a guy on day 2 and then sign a vet. I think that's the perfect receiver room. Yeah, Terry, Luke, let's say 2 of the veterans that they had on the team. I was saying 1, but let's say 2. So that's 4 receivers right there. You draft a guy and you sign a, not major, but a, somewhat big time free agent. That's a lock to make the team. That's 6 receivers right there. I'm feeling good about that room. And you have, like I said, you have Terry, who's a proven guy. Then you have that vet who's also a proven guy. And then you have Luke McCaffrey and that rookie that you draft as potential, pieces that could develop that you don't know. They're just sitting there, and you see what happens there. And then you got guys that are reliable like Zacchaeus or Noah Brown or whoever you have that you resign that can get you some yards as well. But that is it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button. Also, we're gonna go back to commenting a player every video, so if you stayed till the end, go ahead and comment down below. I'm trying to think of a OG. We'll go Trent Murphy. I think I've said him in the past, but Trent Murphy, we'll think of another one for next video. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.